Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Just hanging out with my buddy Cupid and his mom Venus at the Huntington Botanical Gardens in San Marino, California. Today, I'm going to track down a Huntington lifer to give us a proper rose pruning demonstration and some tips for growing healthy roses. From the Temple of Love at the Huntington Gardens, I'm David Walrod, and you're watching Urban Dirt. The Huntington Library Art Collections and Botanical Gardens makes Dirty Dave's top 10 list for best places to have a daytime date. 120 landscape acres featuring over 14,000 varieties of different plants in 14 principal garden areas. A camellia garden, a children's garden, a Chinese garden, a conservatory with a 16,000 square foot greenhouse, including a carnivorous plant bog. A desert garden. A Japanese garden. A jungle garden. A palm garden. Prithee hither if I fall upon thee, a Shakespeare garden. A subtropical garden, an herb garden, an Australian garden. All right, everybody behind me. A rose garden featuring over 3,000 rose bushes, some of them several hundred years old. Lily ponds, not to mention a library of rare book collections, and 3 separate art galleries. If you're looking to impress somebody, bring them to the Huntington, and you might just fall in love. Oh.
What's this?
Oh, hey, Laurie. Sorry about that. I'll explain later.
Okay.
You know what? You have really good timing, though.
I do.
I was actually just telling Urban Dirt fans that it is possible to find love here at the Huntington Gardens. It happened to you, actually.
Yes, it did. My husband and I are one of the fabled Huntington romances between staff members. Back in the 70s, when I was very young, I got a job here in the rare book reading room, and my husband was curator of photography at that point. He'd come over and lean over me, and I'd blush, and we finally got enough nerve to talk to each other at a staff Christmas party after over a glass of heavily spiked punch. Oh. And the rest is history. We got married 2 years later.
Oh, wow.
And we have been married for nearly 34 years.
Wow, that's awesome and very romantic.
Yes, it is.
And your husband, Alan, right?
That's right.
He's been working here for how long?
Since 1970, so it'll be 42 years this year.
That's something else, folks. And you know what? I have a feeling you taught your husband everything he knows.
Just about.
Which is why I came to you. I was hoping we could get a wonderful rose pruning demonstration from you. The only problem is that a group of about 100 wonderfully trained volunteers have already been through here and pruned all the rose bushes.
That's right. They have. They come on January 19th and start pruning away and do a great job.
Wow. Well, where does that leave me? I need to do a pruning demonstration.
Well, you know, Pasadena is known as the city of roses, and I bet we can find a few rose bushes there.
Would you like to lead the way?
Absolutely.
I knew I came to the right person. Okay, guys, so Laurie brought us here to the Rose Bowl Aquatic Center in the south parking lot of the Rose Bowl, actually, to rescue this begging to be pruned rose bush. But first, I have to mention that it's not unusual to see Laurie wandering about the city of Pasadena with sharp cutting things in your hand. In fact, she is a board member for an organization called Pasadena Beautiful Foundation. Tell us about that.
Well, it's a very dedicated group of volunteers that works closely with the city to keep all the civic areas looking their best. One of their main activities is pruning the roses all over the city in the local parks and around the city library. And every Wednesday, 8 to 15 people get together for an hour and clean up some part of a park. or something else. It's really fun, and it really helps the city. The city is so good to us, and we love working with them.
I'm sure they appreciate it, and we've all seen Pasadena on live television coverage, and we know it looks great, so I think we can agree that the Pasadena Beautiful Foundation is doing an excellent job.
We try.
And it all starts with pruning. So what kind of rose bush are we working with today?
We're looking at a hybrid tea.
Okay.
And those tend to have the most beautiful blossoms. A lot of times they've been hybridized so much there's not a lot of fragrance left, but the blossoms are usually quite spectacular. Okay. They tend to be a little taller often, and this particular one is very leggy and needs severe pruning.
Yes, I would say. And what kind of tools do we need to do that?
The most important one is a very sharp pair of bypass pruners.
Bypass pruners,
and this is a Felco number 8. They've got a lifetime warranty. They're wonderful. You just have to keep them sharp for pruning roses.
Excellent. And I notice you have long gloves on too.
Yes, I just invested in these. They are something I've been dreaming of getting for a long time. When you're inside of a rose bush trying to clean out the crossing canes, you can get ripped to shreds. These are wonderful.
Okay, well, and I'm about to learn my lesson, I think. Right?
Yes, David, I think you might.
Before we start this, what are we thinking about when we go into this? You know, what to take and what to leave and how much?
Okay, you're looking for 3 to 5 to 7 really good healthy canes.
Okay.
You start at the bottom and look for the structure, and then you proceed up the rose bush, clear out the crossing canes, take out all the little weak stuff, strip all the leaves off, and you end up with a good shape for next season.
Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and make our first cut here, and I want to get close on this so people can see, maybe choose something up here.
Can you see this? Okay, I'm cutting at an angle as close to the bud union as I can.
Let's cut that one right there.
That's right. We're getting rid of the old stuff here. This is a completely useless little cane here. You want to get down. You want to make sure that you have all white growth on the cutting area. If it's not white, you can go deeper down.
Okay.
We're getting rid of the little stuff right here. We're getting rid of dead areas like this that attract rot.
That is dead.
Yep.
Here, you better let me have my hand at one of those.
Okay.
Should we cut this or no?
I'm thinking we can cut it down a bit. We're going to probably take it to about here.
Okay. And you're cutting at an angle too.
That's right. And you cut as close to the cane as you can. Any of these little things right here. Okay. We're going to remove all the foliage. As you can see, the foliage has aphids, all kinds of weird rose diseases on it.
Yeah.
And
I had aphids once.
Oh dear. How dreadful.
They're not fun.
No. Anyway, so after we do all this pruning, David, we're going to want to treat the roses with a special lime sulfur spray.
Oh, this is the golden tip. Okay, what is lime sulfur spray?
Well, it's an organic compound that was originally used in the Bordeaux grape treatment and kills fungus. Sulfur is a natural fungicide. Okay. And we can apply that 10 to 14 days through the dormant period, especially when it's overcast and muggy or moist. You want to keep that fungus from getting a hold on your rose bush. Okay. So it's organic, you put it on and then rinse it off and then apply it 10 days later.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Now this is dead wood here, so I would just cut that off, right?
Yep.
And all the way up to the bud union.
Yep.
All right, right there. And so then if somebody's living in, say, like Colorado, they might not get to do this until April.
If the snow's on the ground, yeah, you wouldn't.
Right. All right.
A lot of what you're doing is eliminating this crossover center growth.
Because you want to keep this aerated too. You want the air to be able to get into the center of the plant.
Roses are notoriously disease prone. And so the more air circulation you have between the canes, the better the rose is going to thrive.
Okay. Take out all the dead wood, right?
Yes, and you also are going to be taking off every bit of foliage here.
Okay, so I just pop these off. Now, this is looking pretty pruned here.
Yep.
Now, would this be a good time to feed a rose bush and apply pest management, or when should we do that?
Well, some people, when they're putting in a bare root rose, which we'll get to later, you can put a a rose cocktail in the ground as you plant it, which has root growth promoting elements.
Okay.
But to actually feed your roses to promote bloom, you want to wait until the new red growth starts turning green and shows it's hardening off, because
gold tip number 2, folks. Don't apply the food until the bright red leaves turn more green.
That's right. You want the foliage to be hardy enough and the plant to be strong enough that any fertilizer you put in isn't going to burn it.
Oh, okay,
and
good tip.
This is all very tender new growth.
Okay.
So you want to wait until it's hardened a bit.
Sure. Okay, great. Excellent. And then I guess the objective then with the feeding is, you said something about cleaning up the ground? Or?
That's right. All of this foliage and this wood that we've cut off, the canes we've cut off, can harbor disease and should be disposed of, and I always put it in a plastic trash bag in a trash can. I never compost the leaves. I pick up everything off the ground, all of this, and I put it in my trash can, and it gets taken off to the landfill.
Well, in addition to that, I brought along what we call a bare root rose here.
That's right.
You're seeing these all over garden nurseries right now. What do we do with this?
Well, we take it out of the plastic bag.
Oh!
And remove the sawdust growing medium it's in, and put it in a bucket of water and let the rose roots plump up.
Okay.
You did a good job picking this rose out, David, because you've got nice green canes. It's heavy, which means there's a lot of moisture in there still, and they're fun. You often find a greater variety of these. They're shipped. You can mail order them.
Excellent. Well, or the second option would be not to plant roses at all, and instead hire you to plant or design a beautiful native plant garden, right? I know you're terribly booked, so just give us a couple of wonderful plants that you use in a native landscape.
Well, when I can, I try and use native roses, because there are some California roses, because I love them. But I go for native plants with wonderful flowers, and I like the penstemons, the salvias, and ceanothus, and manzanitas. All of them have very unique flower shapes, and they're great pollinator attractants. And anyway, I miss the roses.
You want to go out and buy all those things. Did you know that Sally Field, that's actually her favorite native plant is the ceanothus.
It really?
Yes,
I didn't know that. It has a lovely little lilac blue, and the shades vary from a pale blue to an absolutely
awesome. There's a lot of them.
Electric blue.
Right. Well, thank you very much for giving us this rose demonstration. This rose bush thanks you too. Even though it looks a little pruned back right now, it's going to appreciate it. Pruning always encourages growth, folks, right?
That's right.
Exactly. So happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Same to you.
Love this woman. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. From the City of Roses in Pasadena, thank you for watching Urban Dirt. We'll see you in the mud.
Thanks. Hey, David.